In this episode of the Media Thumbnail Viewer, we're going to be adding the RecyclerView to our main activity and setting up the GridLayoutManager and the adapter to the RecyclerView. Welcome to Mobile Application Tutorials. Okay, now we're going to actually get something to run, and maybe I'll step through the code for it as well. So we're going to be adding the RecyclerView to our main activity, and then we can pass our adapter we created and a GridLayoutManager to that RecyclerView. Once we've created the adapter, we can then use that adapter to pass the cursor from our cursor loader in the previous tutorial, pass the cursor loader through to our adapter, and then we can run it, and hopefully we'll get to see generated thumbnails, not only from the images, but for the video as well. Okay, let's make a start. First of all, we're going to add a RecyclerView to our main activity layout. Okay, just got to define it first. Here it is, here, activity media thumb main. And I've still got the text view there, so now's an opportune moment to remove it. And we're just going to have to manually enter the fields for our RecyclerView. And it's not that. It's going to be version V7. It's a widget. Now we can add RecyclerView like that. Just let me complete the tags. Okay, first thing I will need to do is add an ID, then the width and the height, and that should be enough for our RecyclerView. So we'll add the ID first. Just let me call it Media Thumbnail. I'll call it Thumbnail RecyclerView. And now we need to add a layout width and height. And I'm just going to match the parent for that and do the same for the height. Okay, that's all we should need to do for our RecyclerView. Let me remove the padding here. I don't think I need it on our main activity layout, so I'm just going to delete that. But now I'm just going to go into our media image view that we prepared a few tutorials ago, and I'm just going to add some padding here just so you can distinctly identify each thumbnail, put a bit of space around it. Okay, so I'm just going to add the padding for the top and the bottom basically. Padding top, I think I'll make it 10 pixels, and do the same thing for the bottom. Okay, that's all the changes I should need to make to the XML layout files. Now we can go into our main activity here, and I'm just going to add a couple more members, one to represent the RecyclerView and one to represent our RecyclerView adapter. We'll do the RecyclerView first, and I'll just call it member thumb now RecyclerView, and I'll do one for our RecyclerView adapter that we created. So it's called the MediaStore Adapter, and I'll just call it member MediaStore Adapter. Okay, now I go into my onCreate and we'll set up the objects for our members. We'll do the RecyclerView first. We'll create that, we'll get the details from that from the layout. And it's the thumbnail RecyclerView. that we just set up. Okay, next step to do is I'm just going to create a grid layout, and then we'll add that grid layout to our RecyclerView. I'm just going to create the grid layout in here, GridLayoutManager, GridLayoutManager, and create a new object for that. Context is going to be this, and I'm just going to set the number of columns as 3. You can set any number of columns. It has to be more than 0, of course. Okay, now we can add that grid layout manager to our RecyclerView. So call our RecyclerView and then set layout manager and pass in the grid layout manager. Okay, now we need to create our RecyclerView adapter. So let's just, and we created a member for that. So MediaStore Adapter and create that. And remember, it's just going to take the context of this activity because we need to pass that through down to our adapter so we can then call the content resolver for loading the MediaStore thumbnails. Okay, so that's why we need to pass that argument. If you remember from the previous tutorial, we did set up a construct to handle the activity context. Okay, now we can add the adapter to our RecyclerView. Just by calling set adapter, then passing in our MediaStore adapter. Okay, so our RecyclerView adapter is now set up with our RecyclerView. We just need to do one more thing here, which is to actually call our adapter from inside our cursor loader. So once we've got a fully configured cursor with the values that we prescribed, we can then pass that cursor down into our RecyclerView adapter. So let's scroll on down here. So there's 2 places we're going to need to call that. So first of all, here's where we're going to pass the cursor, and its argument name is data. So call our adapter, and we're provided with the change cursor method that we set up, and then just pass in the data. Okay, and on load or reset, it's a good idea just to set your cursor to null. So again, we can call MediaStore cursor, change cursor, and just pass in the value null. Okay, and that should be all the changes we need to make. Anyway, proof of the pudding is to run this and see if we get thumbnails provided in our grid layout. Okay, so I'm just going to select run. So let me just record that so you can see what's going on here. So as you can see, the thumbnails are now provided to us. We can scroll up and down. Sort of the desired look of what I wanted to see here. There's still some more work to be done here. It looks like some of the images are going to have to be rotated. That has to be looked at. And I want one way of identifying whether or not the video is an image, or whether or not it's a video thumbnail or an image thumbnail. So I do want to check that, implement something for that, just to make it easier. You don't want to have to guess, oh, is this a thumbnail, is this a viewer? Not a great user experience. So there's still a few more things that need to happen. They will happen in later episodes. So that concludes this episode. Basically, if you've followed a number of my other tutorials, some of this will be similar to you. Creating the RecyclerView, and of course the RecyclerView needs a layout to be added to it, as well as the RecyclerView adapter, which we'd created several tutorials ago. Once we'd created our RecyclerView adapter, we could then call it from inside the loader manager callbacks and to pass through a fully configured cursor down into the RecyclerView adapter. There's still a few more things that need to be sorted out that we have to address quite soon. One is, it looks like some of the orientations of some of the images look a bit dodgy, so I'll have to look at that. And also we need a method of working out whether or not a thumbnail's a video or an image, so that has to be looked at as well. So these things will happen in following episodes. Talking about following episodes, if you want to get notified of those episodes or any other tutorials that I'm working on at the moment, click on that subscribe button just below me. And surrounding me, or to my right, is my social media accounts. So I always update whenever I release a video, if I upload source code, if I publish an article, or any other announcements I have, get published on the social media accounts. Directly above me is a link to my website, probably the best place to watch these videos. Not only do you get the video, you get descriptions of the code changes inside the article, as well as the details of how to get those changes from GitHub. And if you've got any questions for me, you want any help, you want tutorials or support or anything like that, to my left is a link to my Code Mentor account. So that's where I can provide some of my time, some of my time available for yourselves. Anyway, that's it for this one. Bye for now.